What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to yet another edition of Action Sunday. And as per request, I have been asked to review Murphy's Law. Now, I'm going to admit this right now. I do not know a lot of Charles Bronson works, but this is my first foray into some of his into Charles Bronson himself. So, this movie is called Murphy's Law. Came out in 1986. I would say probably during the height or probably his later years of his popularity. Of course, as you know, Charles Bronson. He's Charles Bronson. He's a tough guy. He's I would say, traditional actor. I would say that kind of thing. But anyway, in this movie, he as just like Death Wish. I can't believe I'm saying this. Is that I was kind of drawing a little bit of parallels between this movie and the Death Wish movie, which of course probably a future review at a later date. But of course, I don't know. Okay, I'm on the fence whether I want to review that movie or not, because there was some content in that kind of just set and kind of just turned me off. But anyway, back to this movie. So this movie, Murphy's Law, centers around Bronson, who plays a cop that is wrongfully convicted of murder, and somehow he's got to try to clear his name. All right, and so somehow all this is going against him. So he gets put in jail. He goes on the run, and it's essentially like you probably heard me say this before. It's kind of like The Fugitive mixed in with some other elements. It's your typical dynamite cop, no loose cannon cop that goes against the law kind of thing. But of course there's like a whole bunch of shit that happens and goes on. It kind of adds to this character, kind of builds more depth. Not to mention Charles Bronson's delivery with this character really works. Okay, and in a way I feel like it was almost like a cookie cutter mold of his role in Death Wish, in my opinion. Let's see, not much else I can say. I do like the saying. It's a little grimy, the dark. It gives me almost a neo-noir, almost a film noir saying, but even though it's not film noir technically or neo-noir, but that's a story for another day. Kind of like that. Let's see. The action, I would say, if you're expecting blood and guts, it's very low, but there are some explosions. What I say is that is it overblown? No, it's like the perfect amount. There's some really good tension moments throughout the movie. Let's see. The one thing I don't like was the female role. This car thief, Arabella, I pronounce her name, played by a young Kathleen Wilhout. Yeah. Bet you didn't know that. Or as I remember, well, of course, she was also in Roadhouse, which came out a little after this movie, so bet you guys didn't know that. So, yeah, I'm kind of going back to that. So, I'm like, I kind of didn't like it at first because she came off more like this bratty teenager, this with the whiny-ass, nasally voice. It kind of put me off. I was like, what the hell? I'm like, come on, really? Really? It just kind of turned me off, but at the same time, you could tell that she's going to be a part of the story. And what's even funnier is that, like, they don't fuck around with this movie. They just literally plop you in. As the credits are rolling, you just see the first of many interactions or meetings between these two characters, between Jack Murphy, Bronson, and Wilhout's character, and Arabella, or how you pronounce her name. And it's a constant throughout the movie. Now let's see. Well, not much else I can say, but I will admit, like, there are definitely moments of like I said, there's definitely some noir elements, especially when it comes to the character of Lorenzo. He's the mafia man in this, and it's like he makes a very good, convincing one, but a bit more sinister, if that makes sense. I don't want to give much away. You should definitely check this movie out for yourself, because I would say this is probably a hidden gem of Charles Bronson's work. And of course, if you've seen him as a gunslinger in like a Western, or maybe or like I said, in Death Wish, you would probably like this one, okay? Even though it's a little darker and more grittier than in my opinion, than Death Wish, but kind of brings everything home and wraps up everything in a nice little bow near the end. And of course, I love the justice served to the villain. I am not telling you who the villain is, but I love the story of that. Like, they don't tell you who the villain is. You see glimpses of it, of what's going on, and you just know, like, oh, you could see how it's working against him, and then in the end, it really just bites the villain in the ass, and it's a perfectly good execution, and it's a perfectly good execution of how the villain dies, and you just gotta see it for yourself just to see. To me, this is like your typical cop movie that I think is just flies under the radar, and it's a damn shame that this movie didn't get the recognition it deserves, and I would say it's a fine Charles Bronson movie. give it a watch, folks. So with that in mind, I'm gonna give Murphy's Law. A 7.5 out of 10. That's as best I'm gonna get it because, like I said, good story concept. Love the pacing. Love everything else about it. The one things that I would knock on it is like the settings a little too dark for me. The female lead I just couldn't take. But of course, I'm not dissing Will Hout's acting ability. She's this is the kind of stuff she likes to portray. But hey, how you like it or cut it, it's still fine. Good cop movie. I definitely say go check it out, folks. It's available on the Stars app, folks. You can if you're lucky, you can find it on television. All right. So that does for this week. Thumbs video, subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for some more awesome, exciting videos.